Okay, good morning. This is Simon with toughtrader.com doing the live market preview for March 7th. Let's get started really quick. Before we get started, past performance is not indicative of future results. This is for educational purposes only. What I'm doing is sharing my trade plan with you in hopes it'll make you a better trader. Please do not follow me blindly, right? Take the time to learn what my methods and my risks are, and understand that some of my trades make money as well as lose money. The objective is to have the majority of the trades profitable, obviously, and that's what we generally accomplish at a high win rate. So most important, if you're drawing down, stop trading, go to paper trading, get it straight in paper trading, then carry it over to real money trading. The difference between the two is where your problems lie, and that's what you have to get fixed. So all that being said, let's get Globex high and low. On NQ, we have Globex high way up there. Actually, not so way up there. 68.78. 68.78. Let's mark that off. Didn't mean to do that. Let's see here. 68.78. Obviously, we have. It's hard to tell if we have a risk on or risk off environment, granted that what the gap down looks like and kind of how they snuck in the after hours open. So the low came in at 67.98 and a quarter, which was perfect from a support standpoint. So there's Globex high, there's Globex low. I really thought we would make it down to the 67.80. We haven't done that yet. There's obviously support points in between. We're currently trading right here at the 68.70 level. And so what's important about 68.70? It's right below Tuesday's low, right? If we get back into Tuesday's low, the first test, and there's going to be value area low. I'll cover that in a second. But I'm obviously going to let the first half hour go. Why is that? There's two reasons behind why I'm letting the first half hour go. What I've noticed both from a coaching standpoint and my own trading standpoint, when the market's mega fast, yes, the P&L is very, very nice, okay, on NQ. But the stops are horrendous, and the rotations, when they're really, really quick, tend to take you out on both sides of the formula. I want to say that again. When you get clipped, when the market's going fast and you go, well, I'll put a 10-point stop in, the rotations, just the whip and rotations, tend to take your stops out. And if you're not very precise with where you're placing the trade and have a very high level of confidence in your ability to place a trade in a specific location, okay, your stops will come mega fast, and the $200 stops per clip on NQ can add up very, very quickly and be debilitating to your trading. When it slows down a bit, i.e. after the first hour, it tends to get easier to read where the support and resistance levels will be. You may have missed the move at that point, right? But you'll have also missed the greatest opportunity to get slammed if you're not at the highest level of ability in terms of execution. Okay, so that's my 2 cents on NQ. I'll go through the chart in detail in just a moment. Let's get ES over here really quick. I thought, really, I don't have my guys. I posted a Russell chart, but I did not save the Russell chart. I apologize. The Russell chart is posted on the members stream, so. Man, that's awful. I'm sorry about that. I will try to resurrect it here in a moment. 2709.75, 2709.75, Globex high. Oh, the other thing I was going to say about that is, does anyone doubt the ability of the market to rally at this point, whether you're bullish or bearish, right? The dissuading people from stepping in and driving this thing up is close to, in my opinion, an impossibility, right? Just they are repeatedly willing to drive the market up from lower levels. You have to be on guard. Where I find people having the greatest difficulty is not those who want to short. It's those who want to, there's two challenges going on, okay? Those who want to short from the lows, right? But then also the absolute binary way the market's making decisions with the straight up and the straight down with no counter, right? And I'm going to cover that in just a second. There's generally the rule of thumb in the market has been there's buyers higher and there's sellers lower, but not the opposite, right? And it's made trading a little tricky. Hold on one second. Let me get the Globex slow in, which was 2680, 125. Okay, so, and obviously that landed in the perfect location. So again, where are we trading currently? 2705, right? That lands us right underneath Tuesday's low, underneath Globex low, and underneath value area low. So let's go through the basics first and build our way backwards. Okay, so I'm going to pull this up here really quick. And the basics are the neighborhood. Where's our support, our major support and resistance levels here? Let's pull up the TPO really quick. Let's go ES first, NQ second. Okay. So let's go through our basics of decision making really quick. We have a neighborhood. This is our neighborhood above. This is where resistance is right now. In order to rally, we've got to get above here. What do I expect in this area? Slow grind, choppy. My major resistance points within this location, right, within value area, are 27.22 to 27.27. That's my major block of resistance. I've got to get above that in order to roll lower. If you look, that coincides with where we attempted to break out. See how we tried to hold that same level in general repeatedly through here. Provided resistance, we closed above, we backside tested, we attempted to hold, we failed to hold, we failed to hold, we failed to hold. We attempted above, we attempted to break out, we closed below, we backside tested, and we failed. That 27.22 to 27.27, the market is already telling us that's an important level, right? We have, in order to get there, sorry, what must happen so I pull this out. So we must get above value area low at 27.18 and a quarter. We must, right? So right now we're trading 27.04. Expect a slowdown or response of sellers here. Now I got to tell you, if we were coming from the opposite end and we were up here at value area high at 27.2875, I would expect an immediate response from 27.2875. I need to see evidence at 27.18 and a quarter, and I'll wait for that to develop and show. Okay. Additionally, when I look down, I've got to be able, we're trading 27.04. In order to attack 27.18, I've got to get above and hold above 27.10. There's really not much in between 27.10 and 27.18 and a quarter that wouldn't keep us from just running through this area, assuming we can get above the 27.10 even, right? If you look below 27, so then the question becomes what's below and where do we come in from Globex low? Globex low came in, so we can go hunt and see why the market chose what it chose if there was any reason. 26.81 and a quarter, which makes perfect sense because 26.81 and a quarter is right into the anomaly right there, right? So this chart is repaired, meaning the chart from the 5th is repaired once we trade below 26.7950 and get back above. But this whole area, 26.83 to 26.7950, is a valid support area. And I would look for responsive buyers out of that location, right? So press in, so what I want to see is I want to see a press. What I'd really want to see is a press through, press back above, backside test, and push back up. That's what I'd really like to see. So in addition to that, see how we have this volume point of control and this TPO point of control right here? Okay, you say, hey, well, that's support. Well, that's true, but it's almost been tested right here. See this? And it wasn't just like we opened and launched. We came down and actually gave it a test, okay? So I'd be cautious. Where I'd prefer to operate is actually in this hole right here. This is where I'd like to find a responsive buy. Assuming we get past this 26.85 to 26.79, I would want to be looking right in that 26.69 to 26.67. Again, you should have these written down and make sure you have a trade plan. Again, what are we doing? We're going back to the fundamentals. Get above your last best seller, your last best buyer. Get behind your last best buyer. or above your last best seller. Outside of the algo, that'll help us find location, right? Ron, I missed your message. Okay. So, so those are my areas, right? And then in between, and it's important to know, I think we will get a response. So remember I said 2690 to 2700 became a battleground, right? So if you look, there's a part of the chart that needs to be repaired right here at 2693 to 2696. Okay, so this makes sense that it was a battleground, but actually if I'm going to get more specific, I tweeted that this morning, I would actually remove this 2700 and I'd rework that to 2696 to 2693. I expect responsive buyers from that location first time down. Again, I want to see the structure, the microstructure once we're within there to take the trade, but I expect response and an attempt back up from that area. Again, buyers have been completely willing to take trades out of this location, right? So then if I have that as an area, let's go look and see how that got treated overnight. So we look overnight, should have a chart here. There we go. Chart settings. Fed beige book at 1 o'clock. Thank you, Ron. Appreciate it. Let's do this. Let's load 20 days. And let's use the evening session. Okay. And if we look overnight, no, wrong chart, chart settings. So I believe I said 93, 96, somewhere in there. So if I look at 93, 96, there's 96, there's 93. And if you look to the left, or we just compact that up, right? So look how the market treated that area all last night. Okay, so we gapped down into that 93, 96. So I didn't know that, right? Obviously held as resistance. We pushed above, backside tested, responsive buyers, pushed below, backside test, failure, push in, above, backside test, go, backside test, go. So see how they're using that anomaly? See how they're using that anomaly as a support resistance area? I expect a response out of this 2696, 2693, first time in. If you look overnight, you could have used the exact same method. Get above your last best seller, right? Wait for the backside test, use a reasonable stop below the swing, push back out. You'll see that it did it multiple times. Same thing in here. We tested back. There were scalps available all the way through here yesterday in the evening. This isn't your pivot point for the day. If we get stuck underneath 2693, a logical location is to move to the anomalies that need to be repaired below. As long as we hold that 96 and 93, this is all unauctioned from overnight, right? So we're going to gap down. If we're trading right now at 2708.75, or we're trading 2701, right? So everything, as far as the market's concerned, from an arbitrage standpoint, right? None of this has occurred. We're simply gapping to right here. That leaves all of this unauctioned. And that leaves this swing low right here as your first test. Shockingly, we pulled off a 27.10, right? Followed by 27.24. And there's not much in the way to keep them from driving it up. So knowing that and knowing how strong the buyers have been, if we push into this area and we don't show rejection below 27.10 and we get above, expect them to push. I'm not bearish unless we can get underneath 26.93 and hold underneath 26.93. And I'm very cautious with being aggressive on the short side. If we get underneath and then pop back above, I'm very cautious with pressing my shorts until I have clear evidence. Okay. On NQ, let's go do it. NQ. So the thing I'm paying attention to, so everyone's clear, I want 10-point rotations. I want to get above my last seller. I'm looking for tick divergence, and then I'm looking for my delta setups off my algo chart, right? That's what I am looking to set up for the day. Okay, let's go to NQ really quick. Okay, same thing, key area. Inside this area, I expect balance and wide rotations. My TPO point of control, my volume point of control are spread out over 15 points. This whole area from here to here is valid resistance. The auction is complete to the upside once we get to, and guys in the room, you'll know what that means, 69.17. Look for reversal patterns out of that 69.17. We are trading 68.55 right now. So the first question is, can we get back into yesterday's low, right? Next question is, can we get back into value area, which we've already covered, 68.92. I would suspect that's resistance from 68.92 to 69.17. I expect to find a counter rotation back lower in this area. I'll have to pinpoint it from what I see in real time on NQ. It's just too volatile. 100-point ranges up and down are possible on NQ. Please write that down, right? So everything from this gap right here to 68.39. So we're currently trading 68.58 to 68.59. Once we trade below 68.39 and we get back above that chart from the 5th, that's the closest point to get repaired. But that chart all the way down to right here, which is why I expect us to get to 67.72 if we fall apart, right? 67.72, I am looking for big reversals out of this area. If I can get down here, I'm looking for big pushes back up and also choppy conditions in here. I expect each of these anomalies to provide counter rotation locations. They're highlighted on the chart already, right, for the day. And most importantly, right, if I can't get back above value area low within the first hour, I am looking for setups to push me down. And that's both in ES and NQ. If after the first hour, I cannot get back into value area low, I am looking for excuses to push down. Now, there's an exception to that. If we go from 68.60, right, to 67.80 in the first hour, I'm looking for longs, obviously. And I expect the buyers to be responsive in this area. When the market, so this is the most important thing I want to stress. I've seen it in my own trading, and I've seen it with the clients I'm coaching. NQ gets very wild in the first hour when we've had news. The stops rack up quickly. The frustration levels go up. Your job as a trader, if you're trading leverage, is to find your highest odds, low risk trade. Say that again, your highest odds, low risk trade over the course of the day, which does not mean that you have to trade in the first hour in order to make that work. Hold on one second. Okay, I'm all good. Let me plug this in really quick. So let's go look at the internals, and then I will point out, I want to look at the algo, see where it's firing. One note for later in the week, and actually one note from today. A lot of traders are caught out of place as we're going into rollover for the contract. Hold on one sec here. Insert symbol, tick. A lot of traders are caught out of place. Do not be shocked by a lot of volatility and algos playing. So negative 12.98, that's no shock given the gap down, right? It's not horrible. We're nowhere near Globex low. We're closer to Globex high. NQ's at minus 36 here. And the advanced declines, well, it's too early for advanced declines. Let's just leave it alone. We know they're going to look ugly. There's NQ. Obviously, no shock. Open drive higher right into Tuesday's low. We'll see if they can respond against Globex high. I want to see where my algo is triggering overnight. Hold on one second here. So remember, my algo relies on delta for a lot of signals, and that's going to get wishy-washy over the next couple of days because we're going to split volume between two contracts. So just keep it in mind. It's not going to be as reliable as what it normally is, and I'll probably be laying back until Monday unless the trade makes perfect sense for where I want to take it. So on ES, let me see what the bigger picture looks like here. I'll tell you from that perspective. So this is 24 hours. No shock. I got to get below 2,700 here. 2701.25 would trigger a short for me for a move lower. I want to see what this looks like. Bigger picture. Let's see. And it's all been buy side. It's all been buy side since. Really since London Open. Every dip, there's been no pressure on the downside. Look at that. All the imbalances are to the buy side. Buy side, buy side, buy side, one small sell side, get above, run. There's just been no imbalances to the sell side overnight. Look at that. All the way through there. It's all been buy side. Let's go look at NQ. Let's see. Buy side, buy side, buy side, sell side. No sell pressure, buy side. It's almost all been to the buy side overnight. All the way through. Look at that. They just haven't been able to get any pressure since. I mean, it's almost a 5-to-1 imbalance. Sell side, buy side, sell side. But see, now I'm back into Asia. Buy side. So I don't have any buy side early in the morning, right out of the gate. There's just nothing in here that tells me. There's nothing in here that tells me. So clearly, I'm going to have to fight. These guys should all defend through here overnight, right? So I'm going to want to see some sell pressure increase, right? And right now, I'm over my last group of sellers, which was over here to the left, right? So that generally is not a negative formula for me. So I still think, in general, that 26.93, obviously that's a beautiful trade, right? You short 27.12. That's not a trade for me. You short 27.12. You look for a rotation back down. But to me, from overnight, first of all, inventory is long. You can see from the buy. So you think they might want to shake out from that. But I want to see the presence of some sellers beforehand. The risk in that is that they just whip it straight down. But I don't see anything there where I'm like, I've got guys, they've been pressing all night. We're going to press up, shake out the late shorts and come in. I see strength. So I want to see us get underneath this series of lower highs, and you can see it so clearly. Higher lows and higher highs all the way through here. I at least want to get below 68.54, which is a 30-point rotation. And this really argues for what's going on right now in this push-up, because there's just nobody in here fighting this. So I'm pretty relaxed about. I don't see a reason to short. I just don't. I'm not going to get bearish in the hole. We're only down 19 points and 9.5 points overall. And I think what I'll probably attempt to execute today is rotations lower to find longs would be my general inclination, particularly after looking at this. I know where my support areas are below, and then I want to combine them, just like I do every day, with where are my key resistance areas. Well, right now, value area low is the first target where I expect counter rotation, right? Where does my opinion change now? Okay. Things change if we get below Tuesday's low is my first sign that there's a warning or an issue going on. Also, if you want to measure from the overnight, from the 62 retrace, right? If we take this here, okay. Notice from overnight on our first attempt up, we get behind the 62 retrace, we fall away, okay? So now I can look from swing low to swing high. And hold on, let me erase the tiny one. So I know if we get behind, shockingly, 26.94.50, right, that there may be a problem. We already know there's a support area there. From yesterday's high to overnight low, we are right into the 50-60 retrace. Again, I need to see evidence of sellers coming in, or I just think they're going to push up, and I have nothing. We clearly have trend up with higher highs and higher lows, so I want to see us, before I get bearish, right, I'm willing to wait to break my last swing low, which is now right here, right? And then obviously my early warning sign is from the open drive higher. If I get behind the 62, I'll let y'all measure that out for yourselves. But I'm going to let them shake that out right out of the gate. That kind of gives me a pretty good map of what we're looking for. And I'm sure there's some genius out there. I'm talking day trading only, not guys who swing trade. who thinks they found the high this morning and that we're going to roll over and straight down. This to me is not a bearish pattern. You can make an argument that it's a bear flag. Sure, go ahead. But I don't see anyone who's been shorting overnight and try to stick it has had a very difficult time, is what I can tell you to this point. And I simply don't have what I need to go, oh, I want to be long. And as a matter of fact, I'd even make the argument that shorts would be easier once you get underneath this last swing versus trying to short it from up high, because the pattern, again, repeatedly has been buyers higher, sellers lower, right? And it's just gotten fed upon over and over and over again. Also, look at the volatility from the open, right? Look at the size of the rotations. If we cut this down, you would expect mass volatility, right? But what are we getting? We're not getting massive volatility. There's no whoosh up and down in the first 5 minutes, even if we cut this down to a 1 minute chart, right? Where you would expect to see, look at that. There's nothing there, right? I'm telling you this. I'm obviously not long. I didn't take a trade out of the gate, but the overnight, the algo is telling me that there's buyers, right? Number one, the buyers are in control. Number two, the 1 minute chart, right, is showing me that in 2 minutes we're having 10-point rotations, but we can't get below the last swing on a 1 minute, right? That's important if you're looking to short, because what do you want to be when it's short? You want to be able to get underneath your last best buyer. Notice we can't get underneath even on a 1 minute, your last best buyer. So if I can't get that on a 1 minute, I can't get to it on a 5 minute, right? And most of y'all are trading on at least a 5 minute time frame. If you're trading on a 1 minute time frame, I hope you're an expert trader. Okay, so all of this tells me that shorts are trapped. We'll continue to push up out of the gate. And when markets open up at the low tick and they drive straight up, I tend to miss those moves and I don't care, right? So I can tell you from an early warning standpoint here, I just had my first location where I might have a short setup, and it would have to trigger off of, hold on, let me go look. $68.80 on NQ is my first sign. $68.80 is my first sign that we might roll down, and that's where I'd be inclined if I was going to scalp a short. That's the first thing I have to see there, and I would expect to take heat. Your stop would actually have to be the swing high on that this early in the day. Okay, on NQ, I mean on ES, I am actually, wow, I missed that right before the open. Right, the opening print, 27.01 and a quarter, and I would actually expect responsive buyers from 27.01 and a quarter the first time in for a scalp up, not down. So right now I've got nothing that says short, zero. Obviously, I wish I was long, but I don't buy the opening print. Anyone have any questions over what the trade plan is for today? Okay, guys, we're gonna hang on in the YouTube room for just a couple minutes and let everything kind of set up. I need to send a message to one of my partners really quick. I'll let you know when and if we get below that 68.80 or something else updates. Advancers, decliners. We have here, let's change time frame on this. We have advancers at 919, decliners at 1671. Again, that's not directly related to the S&P, but gives you a general view of the overall health of the market. And we'll watch that to see if it improves. Still early, although we should be all the way through the opening rotations at this point. So anyway, guys, just relax. We should get some good trade setups today. Should get some good trade setups today. And we'll just watch. I'm looking for big absorption on pushes down. I'll be watching for those deltas where we get big absorption on pushes lower, where they can't push down and they get above that absorption level. I will be long in those areas, right? So those are unplanned trades, right? And so for those who are new, what I'm key looking off of is for my white zone, my yellow zone. Those are my key areas. Everything else is just reference points. So in the case of NQ, I believe that's value area low. Why have I lost all my anomaly? There's got to be something wrong here. Format, space to right. They got to be hidden. I'm just missing them. Let's go grab those. There we are. Okay. So we're pushed right into value area low. We're getting that counter rotation just like I expected there, right? Logical target. Globex high, Tuesday's low. We got to get below. So if you're bearish, you want to see it below this level right now, right? Otherwise, this is just a dip to find responsive buyers. And again, 68.80 is the first place I have to get below. And I would expect right at 68.81 to find responsive buyers. I would flip that to a short if we close below there. And I'll demonstrate that here in just a second. Maybe I'll get whipped. It'll be on very small volume. But what we're looking at is 68.80, 81. And what does that bring me? Why do I expect responsive buyers there? Globex high, backside test. Tuesday's low. This area, if you're bullish, you see an open drive higher, you're going to go, hey, what else is there, right? You're going to go, hey, I should be buying, right? Everyone that can draw a 50, 60, right? That amazing edge right there that everyone has. They're going to go, that's my 50, 60. Now, remember, we get below there, 1871. That's the first sign that there's a problem on the day, right? Also, we couldn't come right into gap fill, but I don't think that's as big a deal at this particular point, right? So I'm going to try to scalp NQ at a 68.81 area, and I will flip it short in a heartbeat. If you are not prepared to take a loss and flip long, it's early in the day. There's no need for you to fight this yet. And I have no clear short signal. I have no indication that they're pressing down on Delta. I don't see any sellers here, right? So that will change maybe once we get underneath 68.80. But right now there's zero sign of sellers in this area. And you got to kind of really admit that looks like it was a pretty good buying opportunity for those who are willing to trade off the open and overnight. I just have zero signs of sell pressure so far this morning. Ticks obviously come right up, right? So if you're looking for a short, give them time to exhaust or get tick divergence up in this area. If you're looking for a short, ES hasn't been able to test its value area low. It's no shock that NQ is stronger than, right? And again, I'm not shorting because I have no indication to short. I'm looking for them. Ron, you have anything? Bill, you have anything, guys? Alex, anyone in the room? Yeah, me too. You really had to grab that opening print. That was a nice rotation. But it's so hard to do, and it's such an iffy proposition day over day. Let's change this back to a 5-minute. We're still on a 1-minute, and you can't get any progress, right? Here's a 5-minute back. There we go. Just calm. We'll have the trade come to us. Value area low, again, that's a visual location. Day traders will take that blindly, right? I still see no sell pressure. And again, I am laying into that 68, let's just call it 68.81 area. I'm using a 10-point stop and pretty small size to start out of the gate. And if we close below 68.80, I'm probably flipping that short. So I want it pretty fast, Couldn't get it. No fill. Let's see if they come back and dip me one more time. Tick is still negative. And my risk here is I'll just get swept on a sell program. Shooting up on this a hair to 81.50. No fill, filled. 81's filled too. All of that's filled. And I'm closely monitoring this now. Don't want to close below here on a 5-range bar. So again, pure scalp here for me. $68.85 will be my first scale. Haven't achieved it yet. Came close. Come on, let's lift. Not there yet. It may not be there. Again, this is the most aggressive I can be on this trade. Okay. No flip yet. And I'm totally willing to take the loss on this and flip it the other way if that's how it goes. 85 achieved. Next target is 91. Oh, you know what? And that's the first sign of sell pressure I've had all morning too. Target. Hold on, I gotta do some quick work here. Moving stop to break even now. Everyone should have a scale who took that. And it looks like I'm going to get stopped on the scale, but not yet. And then I had, let's see, 116, 138, 91, 120, 116. And now I have resistance upstairs if you're looking for a short at 68.92 against the high of the day. Okay, so that's against 6,900. And I am stopped on my portion of my trailer. I had to stop scale between 80 and 81, and they took a little bit of it, not all of it. So I might have been foolish not to just leave the stop at the swing, but that's all right. And if I get below 68.80 on a 5-range bar, I'll call it out when it's there. So I'll let you know, and I'll flip short on the balance of that trade. I was hoping to push back to 68.92 for an attempt. If I was going to attempt, that's where I want to attempt. What we're doing is pushing it back against this high bar right over here. I have no sell indication on ES at all. Like I said, I think I'd rather lean long than short if that fails here. So remember the problem with this short, if I flip short, it's right into Tuesday's low and Globex high. So actually I'm going to scratch the flip on the short because I don't want to, I'll end up shorting right in between these 2 points now that I think about it. And it's not logical, right? If you ask, why would you short above Tuesday's low when you'd expect responsive buyers? So I still have a portion of this trade on. And again, this is just purely a scalp. So you've gotten your maximum favorable excursion from that 81 area was 8 points, $160 a contract, and able to do that very calmly and very focused, right? And all you had to do is be willing to accept that the stop might trigger on that. I will probably attempt a short from 68.92 on small size again because it's early in the day. if we can get up there. And on ES, I've got no sign of sell pressure yet. Again, and you see if they wanted to rip it, right? See how we're consolidating down here, right? So here, I'll show you this other picture. See this? This is where I'm looking for. This is why I got my backside test into this area, right? And I need to get below this, right? So if I pull this picture in, right? See how we're poorly auctioned over here to the left? This is on a very micro picture, right? So you got to keep the big picture in mind. The problem is I have prior day's low right in here. So that will stop me on the balance of the trade, I think. It took everything. It did. Okay. So again, you'll see they're defending this area, right? So I'm looking for a close underneath. That'll trigger me for an attempted short. That's going to be a very aggressive short. So I'm not even sure I want to take it at this point, quite frankly. I'll just wait to see if they can get below Tuesday's low and wait for a new setup. Again, I see very little sell pressure setting up through here. I'm just not willing to press along this early in the day. That's all. So I'll keep you all updated on this. Here, I'll show you how this is going to trigger in just a second. Pull this stuff down. Not yet. Not yet. They're trying. They're trying. And it's not triggered short yet, believe it or not. If, as a matter of fact, if it gets back above 68, 80, 50, I'd expect a short squeeze here. Not there yet. But this bar will probably do it. But watch, it's just pressing below. It's just pressing into the lows. That's all it's doing. See that? It's a horrible place to short. As a matter of fact, I'd say if we trap back above 68, 80, 50 again, that we run. You're pressing against Tuesday's low. I'm not willing to short against it. It's the problem. See that? So you lose that when you go to this big picture. When you go to the little picture, you lose that it's too much detail. See that? So this tells you pretty clearly, hey, ES is below Tuesday's low. NQ is above Tuesday's low. NQ has been the leader here. So what I'm looking for now actually is a trap back in. And actually, let me see something here. I would have we had another support level in here right there. We couldn't close below that. I would say as soon as I trap back above 68, 80, 50, that we are going to push. As a matter of fact, I'd say we'd probably push back up from here, would be my guess. Let's see. Let's see what they do. Back above 80, 50, and it rolls. Little battleground. There was no press. And as a matter of fact, really what the pop is now, hold on. Sorry, I'm having to update it so quickly because I'm getting the stuff flying at me. 1, 2, 3, 124, 3, 124, 34. 3. What really will launch it is if we close above 68.85. So again, this moves fast. I'm glad I didn't take the short. And if we get about 68.80, 50, and then the next trigger will be 68.85, 50, and that should launch us back into 68.92 in that series, right? And again, I have no sell pressure on ES yet, 0. There goes back above 80.50. Now the next hurdle you need to get above is 85.50. I'd expect a little rejection there. And we actually haven't triggered above the 80.50, believe it or not. I'll tell you. So what I'm waiting for is the smaller range bars to trigger when you hear me doing that. See how they try to get over 80.50. If I can close over this 80.50, I can get 85.50, then 92. Those are my critical levels. Right, so see how we're trying to get above that 80.50 now. So if you took the long from down here because they were pressing into this and failed. See how they couldn't get any sellers in here? I got this big delta divergence right here. They should try to push over this. If I can get this closed, so see I haven't gotten it closed. I need the point of control up a little higher. See how we slammed right into that 95, right? Okay. Now next I got to be able to get it. So the backside test, that 80-50 now, right? They should hold that. That should be the backside test for a push back up. So I will attempt 81.25 again, but I'm getting into pretty tricky territory here, and it's 2 minutes. 2 minutes until econ. Please be aware of that. That makes it very tricky. Still need a green point of control above. I'm not getting that. Nope. And she falls away. See how they couldn't get the point of control over 80-50? Now we're in just this tug of war. If we can get that point of control over 80-50, we're in business. Testing back down again. I don't think the sellers have it here. I may be wrong. They needed it back above that 80-50. Back to backside test Tuesday's low. Maybe they do have it. Let's see. Nope. They needed it back above 80-50. They tried hard. Here we go again. They need to shift that point of control up, and then they've got it. No sell pressure on ES so far. I'll let you know if I see it. Doesn't mean it can't go down, just no sell pressure. See how that 80-50 has just become a battleground there? Here we go. They should shift it up here. Come on, pop it. Right back up into 92. There we go. Now it should push. So watch where it pushes now. Here comes 95. There's 95. See the immediate rejection. If we can get above, I would scale out some as you approach that 95 to 85 to 92 if you're long. 95 is resistant, the first resistance point there. If they can keep that point of control above 85.50, next is 92. Again, there's no sell pressure on ES, and there was some sell pressure on NQ, but they couldn't convert that to getting below Tuesday's low. They attempted in there, which is why I did not take the shorts. So see how even though I got the signal to short, and technically I could have scalped out of that short, it didn't make any. This is what I mean by constantly going back and forth from the micro, right, to the mini. So we're now above 85. 85 should lead us to 92 on NQ. 92 should provide us some resistance between 92 and the high of the day. You're going to fish a short. That's where you fish the short. Again, I see no sell pressure on ES, so the risk is you just get ripped as they run through that 92. Okay, but that first time in to that 92, you should get a small counter rotation if they can get there. That's what I would be targeting. And now 85, we've gotten above 85, 92 is next. The real question is if you're short for anything other than the scalp, how are you going to get it below Tuesday's low? So what I'm doing is I'm constantly balancing where's my scalp opportunity, Where's my long opportunity? This is also into that 50-60. So I'm trying to give both my swing guys and my scalping guys key locations. My next key long location would be all the way back down there again, believe it or not. I think if we get below, if we close below 75 this time, that probably triggers us. Doing the work. Hold on a second. I'd say a close on a 5-range bar below 68.75. That probably seals our deal for a roll to the downside, and I will be short on that trade. That'll be the next test down. Technically, it shouldn't get there. So we haven't made it to 92. Like I said, this is pretty fast price action and trading. And everything I've taken has been on small size, and I'll wait till after the first hour to increase my intensity on trade size. I'm thinking 92 is a good place to take risk against the high of the day, Peter. Peter asked if I thought 92 is a valid short location. I do think it's a valid short location. But your challenge, again, is going to be getting below Tuesday's low. We're back in range, and really what the bears would have wanted to see is a consolidation underneath Tuesday's low with an inability to break. That would have been the most bearish, right? And we clearly don't have that. I don't think it's a shock, right? But yeah, I'm not bearish in general. I think probably everyone's figured that out. Just the church of buy the dip has been too strong. Anyways, guys, for guys on YouTube, that's what we do in the room all day long. We find key locations, great scalping areas. If you'd like to join us in the room regularly, you can email me at TraderTough, TraderTough, TraderTough@gmail.com, and I'll be happy to extend a 5-day pass into the room. I hope everyone enjoyed, and I'm going to kill the YouTube now. Have a great day. Trade safe. There's no need to blow up in this market. If you like the broadcast, if you'd please hit the like button, really, really would appreciate it. Have a great day, everybody.